Many years ago, I read a national study that focused on character and values in the educational experience for college students. And they found that it was basically inadequate. For me, that was really important. It suggested that education was a bit hollow without the addition of that. And that's what led, ultimately, to the creation of the Sykes Chapel and Center for Faith and Values.
We share Dr. Vaughn's value in building the character of the student on campus. That's why we were very excited to be a part of the building of the chapel.
When we first started speaking about a chapel, if you ever deal with Dr. Vaughn, everything has to be clearly thought through.
And he said that he'd like to help me with the chapel, but he added, I'd like some bells on it. Well, at the time, we neither one knew fully what that meant in chapel design or bells or bell tower design. But we launched into 10 years of researching bells and bell towers and carillons and bell construction all over the world. And it ultimately led us to the Picard family in France.
My name is Philippe Paccard, the head of the Paccard Bell Foundry, making bells since 1796 till today, and we hope that we'll continue making bells for the next centuries.
Well, we looked at a variety of bell companies, and the Piccards seemed like the perfect choice for several reasons.
First and foremost, they have generations of experience in building bells and bell towers all over the world.
So Dr. Vaughan, this church is the first church where Paccard put the first bell in 1796 by our ancestor Antoine. It's really moving to know that the first bell made by our ancestors are still ringing today.
What does this say on the bell here? Do you know?
Si je survis à la terreur,
If I survive terror time, I will ring for joy. And the bell survived, and the bell is still ringing 223 years after the making of it. If there is something common with all those generations of Paccard, it is always the curiosity of developing new bells, beautiful bells, and the research of excellence in every aspect of our process.
Each bell is handcrafted from its master craftsmen, bell founders. So that means from the development of the mold, the placement of the wax decorative patterns that are part of the lost wax process of developing a final bell with patterns on it, to the actual pouring of the molten bronze and putting it in the molds. And then taking it out of the molds later on after it's cured and doing some of the final finish work. All of this to prepare a bell that will last forever. Well, during the course of our research, we found that in many cases the bell towers or carillons were not being played, so they were often sitting idle. In a sense, it seemed like it was a dying art.
So we asked the Piccards if they could help us solve that problem.
I remember telling Dr. Vaughan that we had created something new that we call Ars Sonora, which would bring so much more opportunities than a simple bell tower.
It's a combination of two Latin words, ars, which means art, sonora, sound, art of sound. It's a creation that Packard invented. Artistically speaking, we could consider that Ars Sonora is a musical sculpture, making something unique that will be a masterpiece of art.
Bells could be part of a grand sculpture, and we could rather artfully play the music of real bells.
Ars Sonora goes further with the fact that you can play music either automatically or have the music being played by a musician.
So they offered a new technology that would electronically tie into a keyboard, where each key was tied into a bell note. This offered a really important advantage that anyone could play bell music through this new technology. And I knew if we were to build a grand bell tower instrument, that it would be one where the music of the bells would be really important.
I think one part of the magic of Ars Sonora, one main part, is that it's made of Packard bells, which are, I think, really the best sound in the world. Maybe it's easier for me to speak about that than for Philippe, because I was not born a Packard. I just fell in love with a Packard and also with the Packard sound as a musician. And I remember at that time we were not married, but I told Philippe, wow, it's such a beautiful musical instrument. It would be so nice to be able to sing with it. And after that, several years later, we created Ars Sonora. It's so important for our soul to have these moments, because we are living in a very hard, a tough world, I think, and we need this music which helps us to keep faith, hope, and so for me sometimes it's even difficult because it's moving, but most of the time it's a big moment of joy.
One of the key importance with Ars Sonora, it is not only to get bells being played with a piano keyboard, but have the capacity to play the musical nuances that a performer, a pianist wants to play. Dr. Vaughan, I'm very pleased to introduce you with my son Thomas.
Thomas.
Working as an electrical engineer to improve and to make the best dynamic system that is going to be provided for Tampa.
So I developed software in order to make this easier.
Packard has been developing, and this is in the course of many years, new dynamic electric strikers placed inside the bells. By depressing the key, a pianist, by his training as a musician, knows that when he plays soft, he will get piano nuances. When he plays hard, he will get. This is what you get here. But also with the capacity of playing at the very high velocity, meaning that a musician, a performer, can play many strikes per second. 7, 8, 9.
It's very hard to
10. So it's going to be a great improvement to provide any pianist a new instrument, an Ars Sonora instrument that will be able to really get the music out from the bells.
So we have many people on our campus that could play the bells with this new electronic technology. I'm excited about it. Thank you, Thomas. Well, the Ars Sonora is an extraordinary project located right in the heart of our campus. Picture a sculpture, a beautiful sculpture that's 105 feet tall. and it's got 63 bronze bells on it, from smaller ones to a larger one that's over 5 feet tall and weighs 5,000 pounds. And it's right in the middle of campus and located at its base as part of a beautiful fountain. And then the entire area in this quadrangle all around it has got places for people to meditate and sit and enjoy or walk across campus to their next building.
I think hearing the first music played on the Arsenora is going to be emotional, but also just how blessed we're going to feel that it's finally come to fruition. It'll be a wonderful day.
Seeing this chapel built was emotional within itself, and to see the connectivity to come, and it's just unbelievable when you think about it.
I hope that the students in UT, the moment when they listen to the bells, they stop walking, and they are like children. I hope that this Arsenora will bring them hope when they need it, love when they need it, and music and spirit when they need it.
It's really hard to imagine what the first concert is going to see and feel like. Whether it's one of our students playing or one of our concert pianists, I know it's going to be amazing. We cannot wait for that event.
Yeah, in a couple of years, we hope it's here, and I hope I'm here. It's very emotional, but you know, to think that's possibly my last project at UT.
And I'm very proud because with this Arsenora, it's a little bit of our heart, which will remain in United States, and a little bit of United States, which will be in France, also in our heart.
The Arsenora is an incredible sculpture. It's an amazing musical instrument. I can't wait for people to see it, to hear it, to experience it in the beautiful setting of the quadrangle. I think it's going to be a wonderful addition for our campus and for the community.